Welcome to another Quick Win Clinic. In these brief sessions that we have together, we draw from 20,000 plus experiments in our laboratory and try to help you learn transferable insights. I'm looking at a site that was submitted along with others by members of our community, and I want to do something different today. I'm actually going to compare two pages that were submitted by completely different parties. You'll see in just a moment. Let me instead, or at least for now, take you straight to a critical question. Do you have enough information on this page to make a decision, the decision associated with a call to action? Now, as you try to process my question and look for meaning on the page, let me help you by saying, of course, here's the call to action. And I want you to think about what it's asking me to do. And then I want you to go back and say, okay, am I truly ready to get started? Now, as I ask that question, bear in mind that there's a certain style of communication on this page, and we need to identify it because you may be doing the same thing. Indeed, this is a noun. This is a noun. This is a noun. I'm showing you a pattern. Notice all nouns, coordinate conjunction in between. What do we have over here? We have noun, 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 noun. What about the other text on the page? It too is a combination of a noun plus a noun. Now let's take basic grammar. What is the definition of a sentence? You may recall from school, a sentence is a complete thought. What does it take to produce a sentence? A subject and a predicate. Now we know that typically the subject involves a noun and the predicate involves an action, a verb. And depending on how far you take this in terms of diagramming, you can essentially understand the attempt to make meaning by thinking about the grammar of the page. Ultimately, the problem with this page goes right down to the basic grammar. If all I have are nouns, I'm very limited in terms of communicating a complete thought. Indeed, this top of the page does not communicate a complete thought. It's one of those rotating banners, and I had to freeze it to have this conversation. And we didn't start necessarily with any particular one because people do not either. Their eyes move across the page, and they happen to see whichever one is in frame, and they typically move from a glimpse to attention only if you transition that difficult place in the mind that grasps their thinking and holds on to it. Back to this. The problem with this page is it's all nouns, and so it doesn't make meaning. Since it doesn't make meaning, I don't gain enough information. Since I don't gain enough information, I can't draw a conclusion. Since I can't draw a conclusion, I'm not armed to make the decision. Since I don't make the decision, I'm left with a no decision, which is the same as nothing, and yet it has resounding consequences. I don't click. Let's pause there for just a second. What's happened here? What's wrong? Well, first of all, you've asked me to get started, but I don't know what I'm starting. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know what it will take from me. And only that's the beginning, because ultimately the number one question is missing, and that is, why would I start it? Now, I want to take this page, and if you've produced it, this is good news because there's an opportunity for you to dramatically improve the response to reduce bounce rate. But hold on, because at the same time a student submitted this page, or a member of the community, I have another one submitted, and I'm going to take you to it. So here is another marketer. The first page was submitted by Janice, and this is submitted by Elton. And Elton's asking the same question, how can I improve the performance of the page? And there's much that we can do to help Elton do that. And I'm going to do that in a separate session, not now. I only want to compare the top of the page. Melbourne's largest stock list. Now let's just pause for a second. Largest is emphasized, and this is a good thing. This emphasis allows us to achieve a certain amount of important meaning. What is that? Well, it draws or fosters a conclusion that this is probably someplace I should check out. Here's how it all works. If it's Melbourne's largest stock, then I might, from that, conclude that it probably has what I'm looking for. I might also conclude that I at least cannot afford not to check it out because it's a complete selection. For this reason and others, I eventually draw the conclusion that I should engage a bit further. It's just a micro yes. But that micro yes powers the movement with a why. So from that conclusion, I make the decision to engage. Now pause for just a second. Because to really understand that, we have to look at the button. Now, my blue arrow, my blue circle sort of makes it hard to see the button, but ultimately the button is letting me view the range. It's inviting me to do something that I want to do, get a sense of what is offered here. So stop. This one is much better than the other site that we looked at for two reasons. One, they give me a why. And two, the commitment they ask for is minor. It's not a blind get started. It actually invites me to do something I want to do, which is to see the range of their selection and inventory. So this is better. Now, when we analyze the page, I'll show you where it starts to fail, because from there down, it does the wrong thing. We'll do that in a separate session. Instead, I want to take you to a third. And I'm almost done. Now look at this, again, the top of a page. This was also submitted by a student. It looks like Heather submitted the page. It says, craft the perfect explainer video for your business. Now, a bit of marketing speak there, but it does help me understand what I can do here. And not only does it help me understand what I can do here, it uses a subheader to ease me from the headline into the balance of the page. Remember, a headline is supposed to capture attention, convert it to interest. It says, connect with our marketplace. Now I'm getting a better understanding of the best video makers. So there are many producers on this page, and you can get custom work done. So now I understand the model, and I see the hint of what might be the why. I see the reason I might want to engage further, and that is that there is a vast selection of experts here, and I can probably see their ratings, etc., and draw from them rather than an independent conversation with three people from the Yellow Pages. Now, it takes me one step further. It gives me an option around two things that I might want to do. I probably don't want to start a project unless I've already been here or have some sense from a previous conversation with a colleague or some other reason. I need more information. But in the event that I don't, it suggests another important CTA, and that is, hey, if I click here, I can sort of understand how it works. Now, I entered this page looking for something. Once I saw it, that is a slight enough reason to believe I should engage, my motive changes, and to get a fuller understanding, I will naturally want to know how it works. So if you compare, what you're seeing is that this page eases me forward, and it asks me to do something that I actually want to do and that makes sense in relation to what comes before. So marketer, think about your page. Is your page all subject, is it all nouns? Does your page actually communicate something at all? If we compare the three pages, remember the first one didn't even communicate. It was a series of titles. The second page communicated meaning and then offered me a call to action in keeping with where I was at in the thought sequence. The third page took it even further, using a subheader, appealing to me if I want to start right now, and then reaching to the rest of the audience who needs to get a fuller understanding. Learn from that. We can apply these principles and we can make the beginning of that crucial conversation more powerful.